Hello everybody, Mike King here on episode 48 of the Freight Buyers Club, produced with the support of the Mirko Express Group. We analyse the Transpacific trade amid tariff confusion. As part of that podcast, I spoke to Torsten Hartmann, Senior Director of Trade Management for the Transpacific at Hapag-Lloyd. I started by asking him how, given that spot rates were soaring in Q2 due to tariff moratoriums, and that this all took place as Transpacific long-term contracts were negotiated, how did this play through in terms of the long-term rates that Hapag-Lloyd received from BCOs?
I think when most of the contracted discussions took place in January, February, March, before really most of the cares came out and we had to deal with that, I would say we got some healthy increases on the long-term rates, not so much on the back of the tariffs, but more on the back of that our cost has increased to a point where we really needed to realize some higher freight rates in order to support the additional cost that we have seen coming from ships and terminal cost and so on.
I mentioned front-loading there. Does that mean the traditional peak season, which is normally around September, October, is that even a thing this year? Is that already been and gone? Is that what the rates downturn that we've been seeing since sort of June, is that what that's telling us?
I think definitely the issue right now in the market is a lower demand scenario. So it's not an oversupply scenario that we may have seen for many times in the past, but it's really a lower demand that we have seen that the demands from customers is significantly less than what they were telling us at the point of contracting. And therefore, of course, we as shipping lines, we have deployed capacity in order to meet that demand, and that demand is not there. And the feedback we have from customers is that this is not likely to resume in the short term. So we're thinking we're probably going to get into fourth quarter before we will see a resumption to normal ordering. I think also some of the customers, they still have the COVID times clear in mind, that where many of them, they kind of over purchased stuff that either went out of season before they could sell it, or it simply took up space in their warehouses and added additional cost. And I think they're much more shrewd these days and perhaps learning the lessons from that time, that they will not do the same mistake again, and therefore are very cautious on how much they order at this point in time.
So they're worrying about over-ordering and being stuck with a whole load of inventory, and that's a bigger worry than the fear of tariffs. Or maybe they're betting that tariffs might not last too long, and there could be. I mentioned TACO before you came on. Maybe there'll be another deal cut. What are you doing in capacity in relation to that then? Are we looking at more blanks? Are you cutting? Are you redeploying?
We will stay true to the thing that we also done early in the year, is that if we see a slower demand, we will not blank sailings like most of the competition they do. We will simply still sail the network, but we will find smaller ships to replace some of the bigger ships. So we still offer the weekly service to customers, but at the same time, we reduce capacity by deploying smaller ships.
So Q3 is going to be quiet. You're hopeful about Q4 and 2026. What's your outlook for there, or is it just a case of wait and see, too much uncertainty?
I think it's a little bit of case and wait and see. I mean, the tariffs, we may think that we know what will happen, but as you pointed out before, we may be wrong. I think the bigger concern with customers is that their outlook on the US economy has certainly changed over the last few months. I think they're far less optimistic about demand from consumers in the US compared to what they were a few months back. So I think tariffs is definitely still an issue, but I think equally so is that they're worried about that the US economy is maybe heading into a slower pace.
If you like this clip, please do like, follow, or subscribe, or go to thefreightbuyersbook.com and sign up for email alerts. Thanks for listening.